Hello. Welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 241. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. This is a tutor episode where we try to teach you something new. What's our topic today, Shaun?
Before we get into the topic, you got to prime the environment. Go over how was your weekend?
No, I thought we stopped doing that because these are just educational, not let's chat.
But people want the chat before the education.
Nobody tells us anything, so I can't tell you if that's true or false.
All right. Fast forward to the next 5 minutes if you're not interested in hearing how your weekend's going. Okay. How's your weekend going?
Good. Shaun was gone most of the days.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to do some work, and our computer is dying. So, didn't get as much podcast videos posted as I wanted to.
Yeah, the computer's taking a poop.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta get a new one.
Yeah. We've wanted to get a new one anyways. It's just a little more urgent than I anticipated.
Yeah. Cool.
How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. So Saturday, got up, worked out.
Yeah.
And I drove up to River Falls to watch Jiu-Jitsu. The team, Club 37, and Rebel had a Jiu-Jitsu competition. So went and watched that. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. How many competitors would you say were there?
A lot.
Oh, okay.
There were 6 mats.
Mm-hmm.
6 mats, and I would say from 8:30 until 5, there was pretty much always at least 2 people on the mats.
Oh, wow.
Every 3, 4, 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds for sure.
I just wasn't sure since you said there was no bleachers or anywhere to sit.
Just a lot of standing.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. But it makes sense how it is, because it kind of makes sense in the realm of you really just bounce from square to square to square to watch whoever's competing.
Mm-hmm.
And Catlin does nothing but just run hot laps the whole time from person on his team competing. So it was pretty fun to watch. Hustling, dude.
Yeah.
Looked exhausting.
I bet.
But it's cool that there's a lot of, because they're sisters with Rebel out of the cities, and that's nice because Rebel had a couple coaches there too.
Oh, nice.
And so that way, if they had a couple guys going and they needed Callan's help, he could help. If Callan had 2 people going at the same time, they would hop in and help out. One time they had all 3 of them were going, plus another teammate was up. And so Steve came over to help with that. Thankfully, the other opponent didn't show up until the other match finished, and Callan had time to run over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But Steve was yelling at him half the time anyways, which was awesome because he ended up getting the tap to win win his division.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, stud. Ed, what a stud. But no, so it was a lot of fun. So did that on Saturday. And I came home. And what did we do when I got home? Ate food and watched TV.
Sounds right.
Oh, it was great.
We went shopping.
We went shopping, then ate food, watched TV. Glorious. And then, today, we got up, rocked out some meal prep, and then I went to Hudson, and there was a seminar, a jiu-jitsu seminar. And that was 4 hours, but it ended up rolling about an hour late.
Yeah.
So it was about right around a 5-hour seminar, which was fun. It was a lot of fun. Learned a lot of just learned so much good shit.
That's good.
And they didn't just bounce from shit.
Mm-hmm.
Everything they did, they taught with a reason and a point that all flowed together.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. Sat was great. That was a lot of fun. I was happy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Then came home, ate dinner, and now we're podcasting.
Yeah. Checked out a project manager program.
Yeah, Monday.com.
Mm-hmm. Mondays. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Time.
Look at that.
5 minutes. Nice job.
Alrighty. And we're back into
the tutor
portion, which is discussing.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah, now I remember. I couldn't remember what it was.
The importance of the people around you.
Yes. It's just such an interesting topic because, Cody Sanchez, I see her in a clip all the time talking about, how if you surround yourself by, people that are doing better than you, then, you will do better. Just naturally.
Yeah.
And if, at a workplace specifically, I think you do, 75% better or something.
Not only at work, dude, that's so true for a gym, too. Mm-hmm. So true in the gym.
And then, obviously, if you surround yourself, or if you're surrounded, so if you're, at work and you just are around people that don't get as much work done or aren't as productive, then you will also be just... From having that around you, you will be.
100%.
And it's really interesting because I was telling Shaun on the phone, this weekend was Rogue Invitational?
Yep.
Rogue
Invitational.
Yep. So, a little CrossFit comp. And it was really interesting because it was only 20 females and 20 males. But they still had to have heats for a lot of the things. So it'd either be 2 heats of 10, or sometimes it was 4 heats of 5, 4 heats of 5. And it was just so interesting because if one person was doing really, really well, then the rest of the, or 3/4 of the heat did really, really well. But if there was not that one person that was pushing really, really hard, then the whole heat didn't push as hard.
Right.
But, I mean, it makes sense for, CrossFit because a lot of their things are timed. So it's got to be so hard to gauge how fast you're going when you don't have a comparison.
Right. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Or when you have less people to compare yourself to.
Right.
Because one of the girls, she is bouncing back from having a baby 5 or 6 months ago. And one of the events, I think the top 5 got to bye the first round. So their first time doing it was the second round. And I think she might have, she must not have gotten first in her heat. I don't know. But her time was so much slower than everybody else that it was their second time around. Because they already had one go through, so they knew how to go faster.
Right.
So the commentators even say having that first round bye does actually really hurt the top 5 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to. I forgot how she was in her heat. But she must have gotten second in her heat because I think.
Laura.
Yeah, I don't remember who made it past their heat.
Interesting.
But yeah, so it was just so. It's so funny when you talk about surrounding yourself because even in physical fitness, if you're surrounded by people that are pushing harder and doing more, you will naturally want to try and do more and push harder.
100%.
That's the reason why Shaun and I were struggling at the gym so much, was because it was a whole bunch of little
fuck boys.
Yeah. You can go back and listen to the episode if you want. I don't know what number it was. Fuck boys versus meatheads. But it was so hard for us to push ourselves because it was all these dudes there who weren't pushing themselves at all. They were just there to talk and hang out or do things that weren't real.
Right.
So it was really hard for us to go. But lately, actually, it's been some bigger kids going again. Not big, but they push.
Right.
So how does this relate in business, Shaun?
It relates in business big because, a couple reasons. But number one, about the size you can be,
Mm-hmm.
or where you can go with it. I would say really big in the construction world. A lot of guys I know are just self-employed,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say that a couple of guys that are self-employed, I'm actually a lot better friends with, But some of the guys that have bigger companies, those are the type of people you in theory want to spend more time with to get the same mindset, to do the same thing with yours.
Mm.
So if all I ever see is, my close group of friends, they all just work for themselves, right?
Right.
I'm going to more than likely just, work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But on contrary, if all of my friends have businesses with 10, 20, 30 employees, the likelihood of me having a business with employees goes up drastically.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can see them doing it. So I can see them doing it, which is doers doing, and doing shit that you want, right? The second thing is you can go to them for advice, some guidance, some mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's a couple reasons to being around those people. And one is the proximity to see them doing it, which will then elevate you. And the second is you can ask for guidance and help. And if you're friends, typically they'll help you.
Yeah.
Now, you can't waste all your time trying to get their help, or, you can't waste a lot of their time and stuff, but, a little bit, they'll definitely help.
Well, and you can be strategic with it too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And especially a lot of people, a lot of scenarios like that is just you trying to help first, and then getting the reciprocal effect. So if they, if a friend or someone above you wants to chat, or say someone above you, whatever, you're in a social environment and you guys start chatting, right? Maybe you don't really have anything to offer them, but maybe you just let them talk about what they have going on and praise them for what they're doing right. You know what I'm saying? And then as you're praising them and going through those things, this is part of active listening that's important, is as you're having a conversation with someone, listen for key words. Listen for shit that is going to relate to you, right? Because if you can relate to somebody talking, you can, you're able to relate to the story a lot more and make it personal, and it's going to help you remember, right? Mm-hmm. And so as you're actively listening and you're hearing these keywords and stuff so that you can relate to it and understand, then it's easier to continue the dialogue, right? I'm not talking about just, so I guess what I'm saying is when you're having just a conversation with someone, if you're listening and they're hitting keywords that you understand, then you can reiterate with them and make sure you're following the same path. You in those scenarios, you can, without asking them for advice, you can ask them how they dealt with that. Mm-hmm. So just this was just Friday for me. Friday I was in sorry, Tuesday. Tuesday, Whiskeria Coffee. I'm having conversation with a couple of the guys there. As they're talking and they're bringing something up, I'm like, oh, very cool. How does your company handle meetings? Because I want to get an idea of like, when I start having meetings, what's going to be like really effective. You know what I'm saying? Because we used to have meetings all the time when we were with Stable Living, but I felt a lot of them went on too long.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't help that we were all friends, so we would just fucking
You would keep chatting and
chat and bullshit, you know, and so then your 10 minutes of information is diluted by an hour of bullshitting, and by the time you leave, you forgot what the fuck the meeting was about.
Yeah.
And so when they were talking about like the work environment and stuff, I asked them about the meeting, and then as they like were telling me about, I was like, well, how do you feel that helps with your productivity and things like that? Just so I can get, like, they get to talk about their business experience. And so they get to, you know, chat about that stuff. But it's beneficial for me to hear it because I'm going to use that kind of stuff in my business, right? Mm-hmm. And then the same thing, I was in ordering materials on Friday. And they just got a new system. And so he had mentioned something about the system as he's like, I'm sorry, like it's taking longer, you know, the new system. And I said, how's the implementation of the new system going, you know? And he tells me, and I'm like, okay, cool. I said, how is that system benefiting you guys? And then he went in how it's going to benefit him and stuff, and like who benefits the most from it, right? Because obviously there's certain people in certain departments that it benefits more than others. And then I was like, well, how, like, is that going to make a lot more work for the other people, right? And so by doing this, dude, like by doing that, you get knowledge that, because like right now we're looking at implementing a system. So it just so happens I'm talking to someone that they just got a new system put in. So I'm asking, how's it going? Who's it benefiting? How is it hurting? You know what I'm saying? So that when we go to implement ours, we can ask those same questions. Who does this benefit the most? Who does this hurt the most? Who's it going to speed up? Who's it going to slow down? Mm-hmm. You know, why are we doing it at the end of the day, right? And so I'm just out collecting data and shit by just having good conversations. Mm-hmm. But like, I wasn't going to bring up any of those things to any of those people, but the conversations brought us there. Yeah. And when we reached that part in the conversation, and the key word was, oh, I'm sorry, we got the new system. I'm like, new system. Boom. You know, and then we talked about the system. When the couple lenders I was talking to, when they were talking about, they brought up how their bank involves the team.
Yes. Okay.
And I was like, bank involving team meetings is the first thing that came to my mind. So I'm like, bang, boom, boom. How do you guys do meetings? Go over the whole meeting thing. I said, okay, cool. Aside from the meetings, how do you guys build like rapport and all that, right? And then they brought it into how they have a couple times a year, they have full bank get-togethers, right? So just getting the full picture, which is all benefiting me. And will it benefit me next week or in a month? Most likely none of it will. But getting that knowledge and stuff, so when we start doing team meetings or get-togethers and shit, like whether it is in a month or a couple months or whatever it is, I will have had those conversations to implement. Mm-hmm. Full circle. So the people you're around, to be able to have those kind of conversations is important. Otherwise, you're just talking to your buddy about the bar you went to Friday night, mm-hmm. or the Halloween party, you know, where you guys got really drunk.
Yeah. How'd you feel?
Dude, I was just about to say Jaffiel.
I know.
God damn it. So what do you got? What do you got about that, babe?
I got lost in that rant. That wasn't really a rant. Sorry. I got lost in that explanation, and I was just like, "What is our topic today?" And then I got there.
Yeah.
Not saying that was bad. It was just
Most people probably got lost in my ramblings.
sometimes. But yeah, it just goes to show, like, to keep in contact and, like, be friendly to those people that are helping you, and not like helping you as in like coaching you or whatever, but like Shaun goes to the lumber yard or whatever, and so having those conversations with them about their new system and like just those people that like you've made personal connections with on a business level, to ask them those types of questions and use their knowledge and their mistakes and stuff like that. I mean, you talk to so many of those people quite frequently that you're able to ask those questions and it not be like weird.
Yes. I've built a rapport with the. I'm not just like, yo, dude, tell me about your system you just implemented, or tell me about your bank's meetings and we've never met before.
Like, it's taken, I mean, a couple of months of knowing them and conversing with them to be in that spot where you can do that.
Right. Yep.
That's cool.
And some people it clicks faster. Like Jeff's landscaping.
Yeah.
Dude, I bet you it was we had a mutual friend. We had met in passing once.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it was probably 10 minutes before him and I were just like, boom, in the weeds.
Yeah.
Some people it goes faster than others, you know. And so here's the way to think about it for proximity of people. So this whole topic came about because Mason brought it up to me about hanging out with the boy or hanging out with doers, right? Mm-hmm. Not just hanging out with the boys, but hanging out with doers. So here it is. The people you spend the most of your time with, they better have something that you want, whether it's, you know, physical shape, emotional,
morals
and ethics, relationship, business, health, whatever it is, they need to. If they don't have at least one quality of something you're striving for, you should not spend the majority of your time with them.
Right.
So, you know, say you got 100% of your pie, right? And for people you spend your time with, and you got, let's just say 50% of the pie is your significant other. Then the other 50%, right? You got to look at like filling up 80% of that 50% with like quality. So that's, you know, like going to the Whiskeria coffee, going to a networking event, going to Whiskeria, things like that. Even
just like having people that you can like text and call and like keep in contact that way too, I think
100%
very helpful.
Absolutely. And so I guess like for an example, we have a friend, Bernie. I just chatted with him a minute ago. I've got like nothing to gain, you know. Older gentleman and his wife, and we don't really have. I
mean, we can gain a lot of, I think, marital advice from
them. That's exactly the point I'm going in. So like, we met these people, and we just adored them. They've been together for, I think, close to 70 years. Close to 60 years. Yeah. Close to 60 years they've been together. And they got a wonderful family. And they really enjoyed their lives. They were smart. He had a business, sold a business.
Still like did like a
consulting.
Yeah.
But really his whole thing is his like him and his wife, their life revolved around the family unit. And I guess what we have to gain by being their like friends is really just seeing how they did that, how they prioritize family. And
Yeah, because you'll call them and they'll be like, oh, having Sunday dinner like we always do.
absolutely.
Like, it's so neat.
Absolutely. And so it's like, it's that part of the thing, right? So, in a couple weeks, we're going to go get dinner with them just because it's nice to be in the presence of them. They're great people, and it's great to be there to learn from people that we look up to in that area. And so, but then there's like people like that we look at in like business, like Josh and Audrey. If we get together with them, anything like that, that's very much where like they've done things professionally that we look up to, and so that'd be another thing. And they're also a good family unit, family first, and like life first. And so, when you look at that, they really got like 3 things going that we are interested in, fulfillment of life, family, profession. And so spending time with them is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess just kind of like taking an audit of who you spend the most of your time with. And do they have something
for you to gain?
For you to, as bad as that sounds, for you to gain. And if they don't, you don't have to cut them out by any means, but just limit your exposure to them.
Or just know that, like, limit your exposure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just know that the more time you spend with them doing those things is more time you are held back from possibly getting what you want in life.
Yeah.
Fulfilling your vision.
We're very impressionable species. So, like, it's just so easy where if someone's doing one thing, then most likely the people around them will also do that thing. Like smoking.
Oh, dude. I mean, that's how I picked up smoking. A couple of my best buddies were smoking.
And then I bet you the whole group was. Just about?
Yeah, there was a few of us, for sure. For sure there was.
Yeah.
The whole group didn't, there were some strong eggs there, but there's a good amount of us smoking. It's powerful. It's powerful for sure.
Yeah, it is.
And especially like fucking drills. Oh my God. Yeah, the power of smoking at drills was crazy.
So yeah, it's just it's a good thing to keep in mind mentally when you're hanging out with people, when you're trying to decide like, oh, should I go hang out with this person or this person? Well, which one is going to bring you more value?
Yeah, dude. I mean, here, like, when Ryan and I first started hanging out, when we were 20, we first started like hanging out quite a bit when we were 20. Fuck, dude, we held each other accountable. We'd go to the library together to do work, to do like our school work. We'd go to the gym together. We'd fucking eat half our meals together. Like, we did thing after thing after thing together, to like better ourselves in how we wanted to better ourselves. And then boom, we started a business together, and so the proximity of being around it, if him and I hadn't already been doing those things together and building each other up, we wouldn't have started. There wouldn't have been that business. That business wouldn't have existed. And so it could take a while, and it could so I guess what I'm saying is you could end up being fulfilled through proximity of people in other ways than expected. But there was still like a mutual gain for both of us. Training partners, someone to push, two people make sure you getting your food in and shit, going to the library together, getting schoolwork done, shit like that, and so yeah, it's just there's a lot of other pros, to it, and so just doing an audit on the people you're spending time with is big.
Yeah, and competition is good. Like it's. There was an article, I didn't tell you about this. There was an article that came out that said, like, is competition good or bad?
It's the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, and it was Gary Vee who was responding to it, and he's just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
100%.
Yeah, so competition is very good for us as a human species. Like, we've always been pushed and drawn towards competition. But you got to think, like, hunters and gatherers. Like, the person that hunted the prey first got it.
100%.
Like, there's always competition of, like, finding a partner, like a spouse, right? If I started slacking at some point before we got married, I'm sure you would have been like, okay, I probably should go find someone better.
1,000.
And not saying, like, everything, pretty close to everything should be a competition, I would say, because you should want to be the best at every part of your life.
Yeah, you should. And a lot of the times the competition's just with your past self. But business is competition, lifting is competition, jiu-jitsu.
At work, your regular work should just
work
be
is
a competition. Yeah,
100%. Menards had the fucking thing, who's doing the most pallets per hour, who got the most pallets for the day, like who loaded the most amount of trailers, who unloaded the most amount of trailers. There was it was a competition every day you went to work.
The one thing I like that the Chippewa Falls 3D does is they, at the end of every month, have a thing that shows how many times everyone went to the gym.
Yeah.
Or like their top whatever, if you made it over 20 times or whatever.
When I was 19 years old, training that momentum, I didn't do burpees. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. But there was a 30-day burpee competition. And I think I finished like top 3 or something. But I go in and there's a burpee competition. And I was like, okay, well, what do I got to do to sign up? And they're like, you put your name on the board. And I'm like,
cool.
I'm a fucking win. And I just started doing burpees. I would do burpees in between every set of everything. It didn't matter. I started the day out with like 50 burpees. Did 5 to 10 burpees in between every set of everything. And then I would just do sets of burpees. And then I would do burpees at the end of the workout. And the competition of the fact of like, I don't care who else is in this gym. I'm going to do burpees till I'm sick of fucking burpees, dude. Because
I mean, how many more burpees do you think the people below you did because you were up there?
I think it got I actually think it went the other way. I think it got to a point that people are like, this isn't even fair anymore. This isn't even this ain't a competition.
Right. Was there only something for first place and that's it?
No, I don't even know if you got. I don't even remember I didn't even give a fuck. Like, I don't even know what the first place prize was. I just wanted bragging rights. That's it. And I don't even remember if I took first or not. All I remember is that's all I cared about. It's just I
love that for you.
And I don't even remember how many I ended up doing. All I know is there was one point when we were looking at the board and I heard one of the CrossFitters say, like, this is just stupid. Like, it's not even, like, why would I even try? And I was just like, taking his soul, man. Taking his soul. So, yeah, they could have a possible run. But Brooke told me her and Angie lives near us, right?
Yeah, that way. Yeah.
Angie. Her and Angie did like a little competition, first one to do a certain amount of like air squats, burpees, and miles walked or
Something
ran or
like that,
something,
yeah.
right? And it's a weekly competition. And she told me it, and it was like, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think maybe it would have been like 500 air squat. I'm just throwing out some numbers. All I remember is it was 10 miles. 10 miles, and then a certain amount of, it was in the hundreds of air squats and something else, lunges or something, right? Push-ups. It was push-ups.
Got it.
It was, a certain amount, a few hundred push-ups, few hundred air squats, whatever. And I was like, oh, can I join? And she's just like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, okay, fine, but you can't just do it all in one day. And I was like, well, I don't want to do it. And she's like, that's just dumb. And I was like, she said something. She's like, I want it. She's like, I hated that I had to come into work today because she was just going to get the rest of the shit done. This was like on Thursday or whatever. And I was like, when's this start? And she's like, every Monday. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, I would just take Monday off of work and I'd win. And I'd just work Saturday.
Right.
And she's just like, that's not fair. And I'm like, yeah, no, but I would win. I am probably not the right person to spend your time with is what I'm getting at if you want a healthy challenge. Because I'll typically take it unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. The best way for me to convince Shaun to do something is to be like, bet you won't do it.
So stupid, dude. So stupid. I remember how I went skydiving. A couple of my friends were like, hey, Shaun, want to go skydiving? And I was like, no. They're like, bet you won't go skydiving. And I was like, bitch, bet. Skydiving that weekend. Bam.
Yeah, you're the easiest person to get.
So dumb.
Get to do anything. But yeah, I mean, when you're obviously doing these things, comparing or thinking about people around, everyone's competition is different. So, like, do keep that in mind. Like, what you want and values in a person are probably completely different than what Shaun and I want in a person.
Yes.
It's just something you got to determine yourself.
100%.
Can I, like, just go off on a little thing real quick?
Enjoy.
So I was watching, Rogue posted something of the invitational, and so many people were commenting on it, like, oh, because it was about Danny Spiegel. It was her doing the one event we saw, and no, deadlift. Okay. She was doing her deadlift, and so many people were commenting on it, just like, when are we like gonna like realize that these women aren't women? Obviously they don't drug test, and then a ton of people are just like, that wasn't a rep. Why did they count that? That's not a rep. And it was just so interesting because then there was some people that are just like, well, because it's CrossFit, like. And I was like thinking about it, and I was like, that's so true, because so like you have boxing and you have MMA. Yep. They're both fighting. Yeah. But obviously you can't kick people in boxing.
100%.
But you can kick people in MMA.
100%.
It's the same with powerlifting and CrossFit. They're both lifting.
100%.
Can't hitch in powerlifting, but you can in CrossFit.
Right.
So it was just very interesting to like see all these people that are just like, you can't do that. That doesn't count. Blah 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 blah. And it's just like, come on, guys. Well, different rules. It's a different game.
Yeah, people really struggle with that, with just like the knowledge. And that shit will sometimes bother me, and then I have to remind myself, like, oh, it's different. Mm-hmm. Because the pull-ups, like the pull-ups and shit, the kipping pull-ups. When that first got on the scene, because I was turned on to CrossFit in 2012. Mm-hmm. And when I first saw that, I was like, this is stupid. Mm-hmm. This is really, like, this shouldn't be a thing. And I was like, you do your pull-ups like this to get strength. But then as we went, I started realizing it's not, as like I went to CrossFit gyms and stuff later on, and it's like 2014, 15, stuff like that. It has nothing to do with building muscle. Mm-mm. You build your muscle I guess this is with so many sports. You could think like football, any sort of fighting, any sport, pretty much. You lift your weights, however you build your muscle, whatever you do, for your sport, and then your sport dictates the rules.
Yeah.
And so I remember a lot of the baseball guys, they would never train chest.
That makes sense.
Makes a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah, because you don't want to strain your shoulders at all.
Yeah, no, don't want to build up extra mass on your chest. You don't want to build up. You don't want any like tightness in your shoulders, shit like that.
Yeah.
So it made a lot of sense. And that was something when I got into weightlifting. I quit powerlifting when I got into weightlifting, and I lifted for weightlifting. And that is what ended up fucking me in the brain mentally, is because I went from powerlifting, which is like a lot of powerlifting, you do bodybuilding to have the size, the muscle bellies to build more, to like have stronger muscle and shit. And so powerlifting, I had very developed chest, I was actually kind of lean, I had a lot of, I looked strong. Yeah. Big lats. I looked like a fucking man. Then when I got into weightlifting, it was squatting every day and fucking
swinging a bar around.
So it was like pretty much I did back and I did legs. And so I didn't really do much arms or chest.
It's more about getting the movement down versus being strong.
100%. So the only thing I really wanted, I didn't want any tight chest. I wanted strong shoulders, strong back. And so I would train abs, but I didn't like stay lean. So I had a power belly. I didn't have a chest, but I had these fucking monstrosity of legs and a big ol' ass. But what eventually like killed me inside was I like after a couple years of doing that, looking in the mirror and seeing like no chest, a fucking little gut, and like skinny arms. Yeah. And I just couldn't fucking do it, dude. Couldn't fucking mentally.
Yeah. I mean, it was just so funny, like reading. I love just reading the comments of people because it really shows people ignorance of like the sports and whatnot. And it's just like, first off, they're lifting way more weight than you ever fucking could.
Oh, dude, 100%.
And like people had to explain, like in CrossFit, it's just, can you get the weight up?
100%.
Doesn't matter. Like Alex Kazan, she would drop the bar, even though they told her not to. But they told her not to because they were expensive steel plates,
right? Not
because it would count as a no rep,
right? Yep.
Because people are ripping on her for that, for dropping the bar, and it's just like, no, they just have to get it up,
right?
And it's just like, because those are powerlifting and CrossFit, just two completely different things.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was just, and I know that was kind of a little gym rant on us, but that just goes to show, right? Like your sport's gonna be different than our sport. Your rules are gonna be different than our rules.
Yes.
That's adorable.
Yeah. And so the people and the things you want in life, right, are gonna be different than Sam and mine.
So yeah, we say it all the time. We're just here to help give you a general knowledge and guidance, and help push you in the right direction, in your right direction.
Yeah. One last thing on the gym shit.
Ooh, and also, if someone tells you like, no, you're wrong or whatever, just remind them like, it's my game, it's my rules, not yours. Go ahead. Yeah,
that's true. Depends on what they're wrong about, but yeah, for most shit, you're right. I pee a lot, and lately, I don't remember what reminded me of it, but I was like, oh yeah, salt.
I reminded you.
You reminded me of salt?
Yeah, because I took some, and you're just like, oh yeah, I should do that.
That's right. Yeah, I saw you take a little handful of salt. I'm like, oh, motherfuck, dude. So, boom, I've been taking salt for like
And
5 days now.
Celtic sea salt too, by the way.
Celtic and pink Himalayan.
Yes. Well, we do the sprinkle on our tongues with Celtic sea salt.
Yeah, but my pink Himalayan salt, about 4 or 5 times a day, I just...
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus. Anyways.
And I just, get them all full of it. And, dude, that fucking helps.
Mm-hmm.
I've been retaining water. I haven't had to get up in the middle of the night to piss. I'm not getting like cramps or anything.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better when I'm like working out.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Instagram can be an amazing place.
You know who the first person I heard about all this?
Barbara O'Neill.
Stan Efferding.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I believe I heard it from Barbara O'Neill again.
Mm-hmm.
So your body, in order to retain water, you need to have salt in your system because the salt helps open up your red blood cells to get more air and water in them.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that was why.
Yeah, the salt I think binds to the water, which helps get it into like your blood cells.
Okay.
Which obviously then it goes throughout your body. And it's so true because I noticed during 75 Hard, I would like drink water, and I'm a chugger. I just naturally am a chugger. Shaun's a sipper. Like I usually drink half a glass, 8 ounces of water in one go because that's just what I like to do. And it was just, I hated it because literally I would be like peeing clear by like 10 a.m. And I was just like, I know I shouldn't be. Like, I know there's probably still lots of stuff in my system that needs to flush out, but I didn't have enough salt in my body for my body to actually retain the water.
Right.
So it was just literally going through me and not taking anything out like it's supposed to.
Right.
So I know people tell you that salt's bad for you, but it's not.
Oh, salt's great for you. Well, good salt is great for you.
Yeah. Pink Himalayan salt's really good for you. Celtic sea salt is really good. Iodized salt is supposed to be good for you because there's not really many ways you can get iodine in your system, but a lot of that salt now has like microplastics in it.
Yeah, you're better off taking an iodine supplement.
Yeah. Or you can put iodine on your skin just directly.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, those are some really good ones. Celtic sea salt I really like because it does have like 29 other essential minerals in it too. I don't know about pink Himalayan. I just.
It's like fucking 60.
Is it 60?
Fuck yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Some gym stuff for you.
Random gym info.
It relates to different competitions.
Sure. Let's wrap this up because I gotta fucking sleep. Audit your friends. Audit your acquaintances. Who you spend the most time with.
Learn from them.
Learn from the people you want to be like. Even if it's only one aspect of their life, learn about that one aspect to help implement it into your life. Always be learning, always be growing. Don't just fucking stay in limbo. It ain't gonna benefit you.
Even like following people on Instagram, follow people you want to be like.
100%, dude.
And absorb their content because most of the time their content is beautiful.
Right. Sweet. All right, gang. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.